Oklahoma at Oklahoma State. This is Marco's best bet of the week on his videos. Marco, who do you like and why?
I like Oklahoma, and I like them because they can pass the ball. In Oklahoma State, the one other team that was able to pass the ball well this year, Texas A&M, gave them fits. This is the best passing offense they'll face this year.
Now, who else could pass on Oklahoma State's schedule?
Texas A&M threw for 409 yards against Oklahoma State on a Thursday night game, lost the game 38-35, but they had five turnovers in that game, which was the difference in that game.
It's a busy office today.
They're calling for that best bet.
I know
they want Marco's plays.
Everyone's interested about the big holiday weekend. All right, now first off, I got to say, I was going to really aggressively go against you here, and I still am, but I want to affirm that I love this kind of handicap because there's a couple of levels. Look at the score. Right. Then it's look at the yardage and the turnovers. But then it's profile the matchup. Look at that, was there a scheduling situation? Was there a travel situation? Was there a motivational situation? Was there an injury? Going even deeper. And one of the things I love is looking at tendencies of schemes. How does a passing team do against this team? How does a running team do? So the fact that you're saying that Oklahoma State can't defend the pass, Oklahoma can throw, I like that handicap in general. Do you think some of that might be revisionist history, that we're looking and saying, wow, Oklahoma State's only done poorly once? There's been no other team that can throw on their schedule?
Not to the degree of this Oklahoma team.
But I get it. Maybe Oklahoma's the best throwing team they're going to face. But when you look at their schedule, no one else could throw?
The other team that threw on them this year, which that's not their bread and butter, but it was the key to the game, Nebraska threw the ball on Oklahoma State this year, put up 51 on Oklahoma State, passed for 3-something against them, and it was against Nebraska's norm because Nebraska's normally run first, throw later, but they connected on several big plays against them.
I believe Oklahoma has a strong home-road dichotomy split in performance. How do you assess that? Do you agree?
There's no question they're a better team at home than they are on the road. I can't argue that.
Almost everyone's a better team. The difference in them is extreme.
It is. Given, again, that we're talking a rivalry, and Oklahoma State...
What does that mean, we're talking a rivalry? I thought what we said was in a rivalry that the home team has even a bigger advantage.
They do, but in this one, Oklahoma's the underdog. I'm looking to the underdog with the motivation. There's motivation on both sides here because we're talking the Big 12 South. Oklahoma State controls their own destiny. They win the Big 12 South. If they lose, it depends what Texas A&M did on Thursday. If Texas A&M wins and Oklahoma wins, then it's a three-way tie, and you get into the tiebreakers of who does that. The fact that Oklahoma lost to A&M, kills them in the head-to-head.
I'm sure less than 10% of the people understood what you just said. So how does the A&M result affect this handicap, or does it at all?
It does for Oklahoma.
All right, so let's break that down. Explain to us how it affects it.
If A&M wins on Thursday and Oklahoma wins
No, forget. I'm saying that once the Thursday result happens, and then we've got time to evaluate this Saturday game, tell me the way the viewer should be thinking about this. If A&M wins, what does it mean? Let's just break that.
The best that Oklahoma can do is a three-way tie.
All right. And then is it the BCS that decides it for the Big 12, or do you know?
I'm not sure on it.
All right, that's fine. That's fine. So if A&M wins, that's a negative for Oklahoma. If A&M loses, Oklahoma controls their own destiny. All right, that's good information there. Okay.
As does Oklahoma State regardless. They control their own destiny.
All right, so, but I'm kind of confused. We're talking motivation, but let's be honest. Both teams, it's a rivalry game. They probably both have max motivation.
They do in this
So
game.
we don't really need to get, so let's get back to Oklahoma on the road. This team has only covered 1 of 6 games on the road. They're just not a very good road team, and we know in rivalry games the home team means even more. So,
well, this is one of those games, RJ, that when I saw the opening number, said to me, they put this line out wanting you to take Oklahoma State, because everything you just said supports Oklahoma State, clearly.
But what I'm just saying is a deep handicap. Most people are looking at, see this, wow, I'm going to really like betting against this because the rationale behind this pick makes no sense to me. You're telling me Oklahoma's getting points.
Oklahoma's only getting 1.
Uh,
As good as Oklahoma, where the opening number was 1, it's now bet up to 2.5.
Are you able to bet the opening number?
No, but
So it's 2.5.
It's 2.5 now, but the fact that they opened it this low, to me, was inviting Oklahoma State action.
And they got it. But
And
now you're at 2.5. What is the public going to look at? The public saying, I'm getting points with Oklahoma. Are you you want to make a side bet? What do you think the bet percent on this game is going to be? I'll bet you $3,000 right now that Oklahoma has over 50% at sportsbookspy.com.
I won't go with that bet because Oklahoma is a public team.
All right, so then how are you saying they're inviting Oklahoma State action?
As well
You
as
want to change your pick?
No, I don't. I do not. I do not want to change my pick, and I will accept your.
You know
bet.
what I'm going to do? I'm going to take it. This is almost like a fight. Ollie Holmes when they were just crying for Dundee to throw in the towel. I'm going to let you talk with no interruption. Tell me why you like Oklahoma.
Well, I've already told you the main reason that I like this game. This is a game, again, I'm looking at the game. Oklahoma, they're going to move the ball on Oklahoma State. Oklahoma State has a bad defense. Their defense is almost as bad as Michigan's in the way they give up yardage, okay? But they've got a great offense. I think this is going to be a game that's going to go up and down the field. Last team with the ball is going to win, and I think that the big game experience of Oklahoma, as we talked about in the Alabama-Auburn game, is going to come into play. I like Stoops as a head coach more than I like the Oklahoma State guy. I'm going with this game, and I've got a score of 40-34 Oklahoma.
All right. You know, I'm going to help you out, too. I'm going to back up your point with Oklahoma a little bit. About 5 years ago, Oklahoma State had a 2 out of 3 year run, I think, where they beat it. You know, it was a real, you know, Boone Pickens, the famous guy with the energy. He's a natural gas and all that billionaire. He backs Oklahoma State financially like crazy. Literally, the assistant coaches there make 50% more than the average coaches. I mean, big time money with that program. They closed the gap with Oklahoma about 5 years ago. And Oklahoma made a really strong commitment. We're going to beat Oklahoma State. They've actually beat them and covered they've covered 5 straight. I'm almost sure they beat them every time. So in a way, this is a bigger game for Oklahoma than you would think, because sometimes it's a one-way rivalry. Well, yeah, we care, but the other team, this is their biggest. Like USC, you see that a lot, where the other team, USC, is their biggest game, but that's the case for 3 or 4 of USC's games. I think Oklahoma's just as motivated here because they've made such a commitment to beat Oklahoma State. So I think that helps you a little bit. I also think it helps you as a handicap, but it kind of goes against your point of where the money's going to come in on. This is only the 3rd time since 2007 Oklahoma's been an underdog. They were an underdog to Texas last year. They were an underdog to Florida the year before in the Red River Shootout, the year before in the BCS Championship game. In 2007, they weren't an underdog at all. So in 3 years, and now we're in 2010, so it's 4 years, this is the first or only the 3rd time they've been an underdog. So one, it means you're getting real value, but I think it also throws, this is the 3rd time I can get points with Oklahoma. The public's taking advantage of it. So I think you were a little off in that analysis. So did you give your official projection?
I said 40-34 Oklahoma. One other thing that I'll go back to with the 2 defenses, this is going to be a game that is going to go up and down. I think that you're going to have more times where Oklahoma forces Oklahoma State to settle for a field goal, and you're going to trade a touchdown for a field goal because of the difference in the defenses.
Now, before we have some bookkeeping to take care of.
Aren't we out of time?
But I'm going to throw an example of where a stat doesn't matter, because I could make the point Oklahoma State is 40-15 as a favorite. So 40 out of 55 ATS. So they've been, now what does that mean though? That means that when they're better, they beat up on teams. In this case, though, they are the favorite, you could throw that stat. Like that's what some bad handicappers will do. But to me, it's not a rational stat in this case. So it's an example where all stats are not, or trends are not created equal. I think that's a massive trend when they're laying 10 or 12. They tend to run up the score and all
Right.
that. But in this case, I don't think it's applicable, and I think it's out there as something that people might look at to back Oklahoma State. I don't think it's applicable. Now, I'm 2-0 against you when we've disagreed. Did you want to
But
say?
we're like 2-2 for the year on personal bets.
Yeah, but I'm 2-0. And so what we tend to do, let's go head to head, Dustin. This has gotten to be pretty common. I got 500. Okay. Now, what I think are you willing, let me think about this a second. So I have to you were saying the number's 1. Do you want to, we're going to
The
bet
line
it,
is now up to 2.5.
but you were making a point that
I
it
was
was
making
1.
a point that the opening number was 1, which to me came out low, which when
Oh,
a
we
line
heard that
comes
part.
up,
We heard that part. All right, so do you want to do a dime or a nickel on this one?
we'll stay with our nickel bets.
All right, so I'm taking Oklahoma State laying 2.5. Now, what's your record on your best bets here?
We're now 8-4.
So you're 66% on your best bets, and I'm bucking it.
Yeah.
God, I got guts. Now it's your turn to continue the conversation in the comment section with Marco and me. And next up, we're going to be moving to Sunday NFL action.